Big E has just returned in the men's Royal Rumble match and he's going after Kofi Kingston, but before he can eliminate his former New Day brethren, he hears some familiar music. The former Malakai, now Aleister Black, is back in WWE, and he stares at Big E before decimating him with a black mass and subsequently eliminating him. And Kofi Kingston attempts to celebrate with him, although he too gets floored by a black mass and is sent out of the match. Then the Reaper turns his attention to none other than Rey Mysterio, and even though the legend tries to fight back, he can't withstand Aleister's strikes, as with his third black mass of the match, he eliminates Rey Mysterio. Although that would be the last thing he would do in the Rumble, as Drew McIntyre comes out of nowhere and sends Aleister Black out the match. It's a short stay for the former NXT champion, although he made an impact with the time he had. But regardless, on the following Raw, everyone is wondering when Aleister Black will show up or if he'll go to SmackDown. And with Big E giving a heartfelt promo, we get our answer. I came back to this place for one simple reason. Or 3 reasons rather. 3 little piggies. 3 soldiers that represent my failures before being cast out of this company. And before I can find a higher purpose, I must absolve myself of these sins. And I'll make the rounds, no matter how long it takes. Each piggy will be punished, and that starts with,
"We all wanna go big, then say that." Ho!
Let's cut the cryptic Black. I know I'm one of your targets, and now you're one of mine, because this is my challenge to you. The match we should have had in 2021, you versus me at the Elimination. Do you honestly think we were gonna let you eliminating me slide, Aleister? And do you actually believe we won't interfere in that match? I mean, you know what? Before we do, I think we'll give you some sound advice for your own sake, Mr. Black. We think it's best if you go for the neck. But as Kofi says this, the LWO come out of nowhere and they start brawling with the New Day. As with Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee taking them away, Aleister simply walks up to E, but before they come to blows, Aleister surprisingly walks past him. And this act of professionalism is explained backstage as Aleister is interviewed and says, out of all 3 warriors, he deserves the least punishment. That's why I refrained from laying my hands on him tonight. But the other 2 piggies, they won't receive the same courtesy. It's an ominous warning by Black, but following this, it's confirmed by Adam Pearce that Black will take on E at the Elimination Chamber, with the caveat being that if Aleister can beat Kofi Kingston the following week, the New Day will be barred from ringside. Lose, however, and the match will be replaced by a match of the New Day's choosing. So who can win? Well, a return match for Aleister Black is underway, and he's showing just how vicious he is. Every piece of his offense seems meticulously crafted to inflict as much damage on his opponents as possible. Although Kofi is still a legend and a future Hall of Famer, so he puts up a good fight, but every time he tries to get back into the match, he gets shut down by Aleister Black. It's looking bleak for Kofi, so of course, here comes Xavier Woods. Although before he can interfere, he gets stopped dead in his tracks by Big E, who blocks him from entering the ring, and this allows for Black to solely focus on vanquishing the New Day from his match at the Chamber. As with a black mass, Aleister Black does just that. The match will be purely a one-on-one affair, but who will stand tall at the Elimination Chamber? Well, before we find out, on the go-home Raw before the Chamber, Aleister gives a declaration. You're a good man, E. Everyone knows that. But you're someone I need to beat so I can begin to eradicate my past and pave my future, which is certainly longer than yours in this company. And at the Elimination Chamber, that will start and after I have conquered you, everyone will know who my next target is. Alistair has given his final statement ahead of his highly personal match with Big E. But now, it's time for the actions to do the talking. It's time for E's return match, and he's completely dominating Aleister Black with big power moves left, right and centre. Although as E looks for a big ending, that's when the match turns in Black's favour, as he manages to counter the finishing move before decimating E with a brutal knee. But Big E tries to push back, although as both men get to their feet, Aleister manages to clock Big E with a Black Mass. E is out, but Aleister isn't done, as he picks him up with his own foot, then does something unthinkable. Aleister Black has won. His first demon has been laid to rest in an uncomfortable and brutal fashion. Yet Black doesn't care, as he simply strolls to the back whilst Big E gets medical attention. Can he even make it to the New Day triple threat match at WrestleMania? Well, that isn't Black's concern, as he can now move on. But what's next for the Grim Reaper of WWE? Well, everyone on the following Raw is walking on eggshells, especially those who interacted with Aleister Black before he turned to Malakai. No one knows who his next target is, although eventually, everyone finds out who is on the list. You know, I was gonna wait until Backlash to really make you suffer, but you aren't the worst man I must conquer. Aleister Black has his next target set, and of course, this sets off the LWO, as they each want a piece of Aleister, each of them aside from Aleister Black's wife. Zelina Vega seems conflicted about the matter at hand, and before Aleister Black's match with Joaquin Wilde the following week, he points this out and he says, "My love, come home. The LWO isn't who you are. You're being held back by an old has-been who deserves to be punished for his wrong doings. Please." But before he can say anything else, he gets jumped by Wilde, although as soon as the match begins, Aleister counters a move, then wipes him out with a Black Mass out of nowhere. The match is over as soon as it begins, but then Ray rushes out, although Aleister grabs Wilde, which stops Ray dead in his tracks, in case Black inflicts more harm onto him, as the Reaper says, "You all want to know something? Ray, you came to me for help, to fight against an evil, fake god and his disciples, and because you put me in the firing lines of one of the most dangerous groups at the time, I nearly lost my eye. To a man serving his god, I can forgive that. The man who put me through that, I can't forgive as easily. That's why you are the second piggy, Ray, because you introduced me to the flame, and I stepped in it. So this is my vow, Ray. The LWO will die." And as soon as he says this, he connects another Black Mass onto Wilde before exiting through the crowd. Ray is furious, but can Black fulfill his goal? Well, the following week, he is completely decimating Cruz del Toro. It's a similar story to last week, although the punishment is stretched out for longer. And in the end, after an almost completely one-sided match, Black puts Cruz del Toro away with a Black Mass. But he doesn't take time to celebrate, as he immediately hits another after his win, and this of course brings out Rey Mysterio, although before he can get in the ring, Dragon Lee comes out of nowhere and sends Black to the outside of him screaming, "Next week on the Go Home Raw, before you get to Rey, you have to go through me." The challenge has been made, and of course, Aleister Black accepts, and the resulting match is far more competitive than Black's previous 2 matches. Dragon Lee is showing why he deserves this opportunity. The contest is in contention for being the TV match of the year, but Black is still a monster, as even with how talented Dragon Lee is, he can't seemingly match the ferociousness of Aleister Black. As for Black Mass, he has now vanquished all the members of the LWO, aside from Rey Mysterio and Zelina Vega. And Rey decides to let his actions do the talking as he takes it to Black, but Black is weakened through his battle with Dragon Lee, so Rey manages to get on top and sends him to the outside. And with the animosity between the two, the match is made official for WrestleMania 41. But who will stand tall at the biggest show of the year? Well, the match is on and Rey Mysterio is moving like he's 25. He's proving yet again that he still has what it takes to stand against the current stars of WWE. But Black is still a very difficult opponent for Rey to handle, as the Reaper's athleticism is still impressive even compared to Rey in his prime. Although Black's core area that he excels at is his martial arts, and that's what starts to overwhelm his opponent just like the others. But Rey won't give up without a fight, as he even manages to counter Black's strikes as he connects a springboard in response. Then he starts to dial it up. He's looking for a 619, but Black counters before dropping him on his back. Then he calls for him to get up, although as he looks for a Black Mass, Rey counters. Then this time he manages to connect the 619, but he can't connect the subsequent splash as Black counters. Then he floors Rey for Black Mass, but he isn't done as he's looking for revenge, so he connects another and another. And in the midst of the massacre, Zelina Vega comes out. She's seen enough. Or has she? As she unbelievably signals for Black to hit one more. Zelina Vega has joined the dark side. She is united with her husband on the grandest stage, and she is now alongside him as he prepares for his last target. As on the Raw after WrestleMania 41, we find out who the last demon is. Finally. At least with Rey, there could be an argument he didn't mean to cause harm. I can't say the same about Seth. He is why my eye is like this. Rey was the leading cause. Seth, you flat out caused this. And I saved the most evil piece of shit for last, so I could savor it, so I could torture you slowly with the sinking feeling that I was coming for you and you didn't know when your time would come. The LWO is dead because of me, and I will kill every last shred of the Monday Night Messiah. You did this to yourself, Rollins. You.
Burn it down!
Seth Rollins is here, and he goes straight after the Reaper, but as he gets into the ring, he gets floored by Aleister Black as he connects a Black Mass. Then he observes the corpse as he says, "At Backlash, my demons will be put to rest, and I will be able to move forward only when I beat you." Aleister Black's message has been sent loud and clear, although Rollins won't take the beating lying down, as the following week, he assaults Aleister Black as he arrives to the building. It's absolute chaos. The hatred between the two could fuel a Red Lantern ring for decades. Nothing can separate them, aside from the other standing tall over his rival. And on this specific night, it turns out to be Aleister Black, as he plants Seth through a table. Although that isn't the last time these two men brawl during the night, as whilst Aleister is wrestling, he gets jumped by Seth and the fight rages on, but in the end, Rollins manages to connect the stomp, although in a desperate attempt to control the non-stop brawling between the two men ahead of their scheduled match at Backlash, Adam Pearce announces that he has traded Aleister Black to SmackDown. But that only escalates the fight more, as Rollins takes a trip to SmackDown to continue fighting against Black. It's now non-stop brawling on every main show, although this rivalry comes to a close at Backlash. The opening match in Mexico is on, but who will win? Can Black finally move forward with his career by defeating Rollins, or will Seth overcome the Grim Reaper? Well, it's looking like the martial arts training for Aleister Black is once again overwhelming his opponent. He even connects a sliding knee, although Rollins kicks out at 2. So Black looks for a kick, although Rollins moves, then he connects a sling blade before sending the Reaper to the outside, and he subsequently dives onto Black. But then Aleister counters an attempted grapple, then he sends the former Messiah into the barricade before using it to cause further punishment to Rollins. But Seth pushes Black back before nailing a diving knee onto him. Then Seth sends Aleister into the ring before looking to dive onto him, but he gets knocked out cold by a well-timed elbow. Rollins is out, but Aleister Black wants to cause further harm, so he goes to the top rope, but Rollins somehow gets up and connects a pedigree out of nowhere. Although it just gets him a 2 count. Then Rollins demands for Black to bring it, which he does, as he locks in a Dragon Sleeper, although Rollins gets out of it almost instantaneously. Then after colliding with each other, Black then nails a knee to the gut, then he goes into the corner and looks for another knee to the temple, but Rollins avoids it. Then with Black stunned, he nails another pedigree, although once again, Black kicks out. So Rollins goes for a stomp, although Black counters, spins him around, hits him with a stiff strike, then he connects a Black Mass. Rollins is done, although Black wants to hit one more, so he brings him up with his boot and connects it. Seth's sins have been forgiven. Aleister Black has put all his demons to rest, and with his wife congratulating him on the ramp, Aleister's first chapter of his career back in WWE has come to a close.